Pokebabs! Hey guys, welcome back to Pokebabs. Today I'm going to start this video with a public service announcement. I just thought this was interesting. I noticed this in the last couple days that Pokemon has put up this notice about exploitive farming of versus rewards. And I think we all kind of know what that means, you know, trying to get up the ladder quickly by getting some sort of a cheap win by colluding, as they say. I'm not exactly sure how that's possible without chat, but it is interesting that they noted this, that they'll suspend accounts. I don't know. I think that's kind of strange considering that I don't know how you can collude at this point, besides like if you actually know the person you get paired against. And the chance of you being able to do that to any great extent is just sort of absurd. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting, pretty strange that is even something of note. Anyway, today we are going to be looking at that Houndoom Mill list that I used in the ARG to take first. And we did look at it briefly in person, but I want to take another look at it and go into it in a little more depth. We've got, of course, the main attacker Houndoom, 170 HP, fire type. The first attack is pretty much the only attack we're going to use. There is a possibility that we use the second attack on rare occasion, but the first attack, Melting Horn, discard the top two cards of your opponent's deck. The goal of this deck is to run your opponent out of cards so they can't draw at the beginning of their turn. We also do have Grand Flame for 2 fires. It only does 50 damage, but you do attach a fire energy from your discard to one of your bench Pokemon. So if you're really desperate to get energy back, I suppose you could use this. If you need to, like if you attach 2 because you know you're going up against a denial deck, and you want to be able to, you're worried that they might Flare Grunt you, but you want to at the same time be adding energy, you could do it. Pretty rare occasion though. We also have one Bunnelby, wanted to have a non-EX attacker that can essentially do the same thing with Burrow. You can use Rototiller as well. Also, not having the fire weakness or the water weakness can come in handy in certain matchups if you put a Fury Belt on this. So just something to note there, especially with it being a non-EX. For Disruption, we've got a 2/2 Crawdaunt line. It is a little bit thin, but we've got ways of recycling if necessary. It's all about this ability, Unruly Claw. When you evolve this Pokemon from your hand, you may discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's like Flare Grunt, Team Flare Grunt on in the form of an ability. We've also got 2 Shaymin-EX for setup. Of course, fantastic ability. Don't want to be putting these down very often because they are easy prizes for your opponent. But sometimes you just need to dig for things. The way that I've built the deck, there is a low draw support account, and the reason being is I want to be using other supporters as much as I can, except for in the early turns you might want draw supporters, but for the most part you want to be using some of your tech supporters. So for Denial, we've got 4 Crushing Hammer. Of course, allows discarded energy off field on a coin flip. We've got 2 Enhanced Hammers because there is a fair amount of special energy in the format, and it does allow for obviously more damage. You know, Double Colorless is big, Double Dragon still used, and a few other special energy that you see here and there, but mostly Double Colorless is the main thing. And we've also got that's for Energy Denial. Along with that, for Energy Denial, we've also got 2 Team Flare Grunt. Could even play more, perhaps. And I would consider adding in a Team Skull Grunt, which we'll take a look at real quick here, just in case you don't know what it does. But here we go. Team Skull Grunt says your opponent reveals their hand, discard 2 energy cards from it. So it could be really good. It's a new Sun and Moon card. Could be really good for not only the fact that you can discard energy, but your opponent is forced to reveal their hand. This could be useful, especially against like Greninja, where they get to take the energy back into their hand. They might be holding water so that they can Giant Water Shuriken you. So being able to discard energy from their hand could be really, really important. And I definitely would consider adding it in the future for this deck. I'm going to opt not to change it, though, for this video, since I do want to show what I did play exactly. Now, other than that, we do have one Devolution Spray. Again, very low count here, but part of the reason is because we can get things back with puzzles. With the Devolution Spray, of course, is for this Crawdaunt, so we can reuse his ability. It may, if you have 2 Corphish down, you may be able to use the ability twice in one turn, or it just allows you to use it later in the game, which is great, especially if you prize a Corphish. You want to be able to still use Crawdaunt to some extent. Now, we do play a fairly low energy count, so I'm going to be playing one Energy Retrieval. Just allows us to get 2 energy back from our discard. I think this can be really useful, but at the same time, I don't think we need a high energy count. I'd rather be playing some of these strong item cards. We've got one Escape Rope. Escape Rope is great in so many different situations. A lot of times, I mean, first of all, we need a way to switch out of things like Shaymin and Crawdaunt and Corphish. But also, if you have multiple Houndoom, it could just force your opponent to send up something with heavy retreat cost, or send up something that has energy they've been building, like, say they've been attaching energy to the bench somehow. If you want to bring that up and then start discarding energy from that, could be very useful. We've also got 2 Level Ball. This searches out our Crawdaunt, our Corphish, and also Bunnelby, so that's great. Allows us to get a lot of stuff in our deck. We are only playing a 3 count of Ultra Ball. I realize I'm kind of going out of order with the cards, but I want to go in some logical order here. 3 Ultra Ball, and the reason being is that you're most likely going to start Houndoom or Bunnelby, and those are your mill attackers. And we have slightly over a 50% chance of starting them. So I don't feel that Ultra Ball is all that necessary. It's good to get Shaymin, but other than that, I don't think you need it all that much. And you should be able to draw into most of what you need in terms of attackers. We are playing for Max Potion. Of course, we don't have any pickup cards like Super Scoop Up Cyclone, AZ, Cassius, that kind of thing. And so this is really our only way of resetting damage for the most part in the standard format with this kind of a deck. And so unless we played something crazy like Fire Energy and Fairy Drop or something weird like that, this is really our best option. And so we do play a full 4 count of them. I find it to be pretty useful. It's necessary. It's helpful because with the 4 count, you are obviously more likely to draw into it, and sometimes you just buy yourself a couple turns with Max Potions, which is great. I mentioned we played 4 Puzzle of Time. This, of course, allows us to get back 2 cards from our discard pile. That's the main reason we're going to be using it, and that can allow us to get anything back. And there's so many strong cards here that we can get back. So I don't even think I really need to go over it too much, but I think it's pretty clear there's a lot of great cards that you can get back. We've got 4 via Seeker, of course. We've got so many different supporters. It's nice to have the full 4 count, of course. We do have 2 Silent Lab. This is my stadium of choice. Reason being, a lot of decks want to set up with Shaymin, Hoopa, that type of thing. If you can limit them to not be able to do that, if you can get a Silent Lab out turn 1 or even later in the game when they're trying to dig for the energy they need to attack or that type of thing, digging for the attackers they need, I think that this is really helpful in that sense. And there's a few basic abilities in the game that are good to shut off as well. Also, nice thing to note, it does not shut off our Crawdaunt because we are an evolved Pokemon, so that's very nice. Can have that down and still use Crawdaunt if necessary. Now onto the tech supporters. We've got 1 Delinquent. This is great. Can get rid of stadiums in play that are a nuisance, such as Skyfield in Mega Rayquaza, or maybe if your opponent has Forest of Giant Plants, they don't get themselves set up turn 1. You can discard that, and of course it's great to discard the 3 cards from your opponent's hand. Disruption, further disruption there. We've got 2 Lysandre, just great for stranding things with a high retreat cost. Only 1 N. I realize this is a low count, but again, I mentioned my philosophy about using draw supporters. Then we've got 1 Pokemon Center Lady. This is our other form of healing in the deck, and it also helps heal us from special conditions. There are a few in the format. Things like paralysis and sleep can be really annoying to deal with, so always good to have a Pokemon Center Lady in there. Also, if you get hit for 60, like with a Fright Night Evil Tall or something like that. Went over Sycamore, Flare Grunt, only the 3 Sycamore again. And we have 1 Team Rocket's Handiwork. This card, of course, great in a mill deck. We can flip 2 coins and for each head discard 2 cards off your opponent's deck. Playing 3 Fighting Fairy Belt. This goes great on our Bunnelbys and on our Bunnelby and Houndoom. So just adds to our HP, lets us tank a couple hits. One Float Stone, I think only one is necessary. But I do think it is helpful to put on a Crawdaunt since it does have 2 retreat and 6 fire energy. So let's go into some games here and let's see what we can do with it. I did have to play the deck in the Sun and Moon format, so I do kind of know how it works out. But we'll see if there's new decks out there that maybe make this a little bit tougher. And we'll see how we can hold up in this format now that people have more cards. We're going to go ahead and do our first match here against Epic Splash, playing a Psychic and Colorless deck. And we are going to call the coin flip heads. We do get heads, which is great. Maybe we can get a Corphish setup, get Houndoom in the active, get energy attached. We get nothing new, and we see Mega Mewtwo. Mega Mewtwo is a relatively okay matchup. Would not say it's 100% favored for us or anything like that, but it's definitely good because they got to set up a lot, I guess. And the bad thing is that they could play Garbodor, so we want to get we want to use our Crawdaunts as early as possible. We'll just press done. Opponent can select, and then we'll probably level ball for a second Corphish. Okay, so we got a Houndoom, we got Corphish, got hopefully another Corphish. Another Corphish prize. So we'll grab Bunnelby. That's a little unfortunate since we're probably not going to see it, and we will end. See if we can get an energy attachment this turn. We do not yet. Could set up. I think I'd rather Silent Lab. If we set up, we could set up first, then Silent Lab, but I think I'd rather Silent Lab and make it so they can't use Hoopa. Because we have Max Potion, so we can kind of sit on our hand, sit just for a little while and just take hits. Let's see, Ultra Ball. I'm not sure if they even play Hoopa. We see a Trubbish. Not sure if they play Hoopa since they play Espeon. Trubbish coming down. Energy, and we just see a Shadow Shot. Sycamore. Ooh, discarding 2 VS Seeker. It's not the play that you want to make in that situation. They do see a Float Stone come down, so we may not be able to use Crawdaunt whatsoever. Unless we can draw into one here. Max Potion, was that what I saw? Or was Mega Turbo, sorry. We do see Parallel City coming down, which means we can play Shaymin next turn, because we can Delinquent Shaymin. I'm okay with that. Definitely okay with that. Hopefully they'll play their hand down to 3 cards. I don't think they would do that, but as I say that, this happens, so... oh, they're grabbing a Shaymin, though. But the fact that they're being so aggressive is good, too. We're already down to 31 cards, which is what we'd like to see. Shatter Shot coming in for 30 damage. We get a Level Ball, so that's fantastic. We get to use our Crawdaunt before our abilities get shut down. Love that. We will use it. We will discard the energy. We will play Delinquent. And now our opponent has to decide what they want to discard from their hand. And maybe they have stuff they're willing to give up, but even with a 6-card hand, there's a lot of times where it's like, obviously they held on purpose. So we see N, Lysandre, and Hoopa going away. We could Max Potion to draw more, but I'd rather hold on to the Max Potion, because we can definitely get hit hard with this kind of a deck. And okay, we don't really draw into anything else useful, but I'll just pass. We do have a Flare Grunt, though, so we can keep denying energy. We know they have Mega Turbo, but do they have a Mega yet? We do see the Mega evolution for the turn, which is totally okay with me. We do have another Crushing Hammer. We're just going to Flare Grunt, though, because we want to use our supporter for the turn, and we will pass. Energy Denial is the way to go. Now, of course, we want energy so we can discard like their Mega Turbos and stuff. As long as they have access to Mega Turbo, they have a way to get powered up quickly. We see one Mega Turbo here. We're at 140, so we see an N though, so that's good. Our hand was, I mean, our hand had great energy denial, but other than that, we didn't have anything going for us. Okay, so we have Crushing Hammer, Energy. Will they be able to get an attack off this turn? That would be pretty important for them, I would imagine. So they do. The question is, will they be able to get... They don't get knockout. They only do 70 damage, which is great. We also get... okay, we got a lot of stuff here. So we'll Crushing Hammer. We'll discard energy. We will Crushing Hammer. We will miss. We will Devolution Spray, pick up Crawdaunt, because they haven't got the Garbodor out yet. And do I dig for Max Potion, or do I... It's kind of a tough decision, because I could either dig for the Max Potion, or I can just attach energy now. If I attach energy now, we have a better chance of drawing into Flare Grunt, so I'll just attach now. And we have other, it's not like we don't have other Houndooms. We will set up, okay, so we didn't draw Max Potion. We will Crushing Hammer, Tails. We can Lysandre or Handiwork here. I think we'll Handiwork. Man, I kind of like the Lysandre play, actually. But then we can't use Crawdaunt next turn, so... Yeah, we'll Handiwork. Heads. Discarding a Mewtwo and a Spirit Link, I believe. Yeah. Do I put the Fury Bolt down? Let's see. He hit us for 100 last turn, so it'd be 130. Let's see. 10 plus, he was for 70 last turn? Sorry, it was for 70 last turn, so now it'd be 100 unless it was a DCE. So we could avoid the knockout this way. I guess I'm willing to do that. I don't know, could put it on the next Houndoom though. And we just got DCE and Spirit Link, so that's fantastic. Down 2 Spirit Links early on in the game. And if they have to manually evolve, we'd love that. We do see a Trainer's Mail for a Mega Turbo. So they are going to be able to get off an attack this turn. I believe they are 10 shy right now. But they could have energy in hand. See Mega Turbo. Do see the Psychic Infinity, so they're actually going to be just shy of the knockout. And we love seeing that. We got a Houndoom though, not great. We will discard another energy though. And we could pull up a Mewtwo, but then they're able to Shatter Shot us for knockout. Or we could pull up a Shaymin, and they'd have to use energy to retreat. I'm okay, I think, with getting knocked out. Like, I obviously don't want that, but we'll just Melting Horn. If they don't have energy though, like if they only have a DCE or something, we got to get rid of another Mega Turbo, and what was that? Super Rod. Okay, great. So this is exactly what we want to see happen in this game. We do see a Float Stone though. I kind of forgot about that. They had Float Stone option. That's fine though. I think we'll be okay if they knock us out. The question is, can they knock us out? They still haven't shown that they have energy yet. And we see versus Seeker for Sycamore. And obviously we said discarding a Mega Mewtwo. So okay. They get Spirit Link Mega Mewtwo. They get energy. They're gonna hit us for knockout. They're only doing 100 right now though. So they need a lot to be able to get us knocked out next turn, especially with us top decking the Flare Grunt. We will attach and we will Melting Horn. And putting them down to 6 cards, discarding a Mega Turbo again, and a Float Stone. Float Stone not so important, the Mega Turbo definitely important. And thankfully we don't care about if they... Oh, so DCE. Ooh, okay. That makes things interesting. Ooh, they're going to bring up a Shaymin now. So... Yeah, and it's not even enough for a knockout, so that's kind of funny. We don't have anything good, though. Alright, we're going to have to get hit, but there's a lot of ways that we can win next turn. I mean, I don't know if that's the right way to say it. There's ways that we can win next turn, though. Will we just go for the Shaymin knockout? Probably not a bad plan. See, Psychic Infinity. Doing 130 to our Shaymin. Could send a Bunnelby here, but I'd rather mill, I believe. Alright, so we get Energy Retrieval. Is that in any way useful? I don't think so. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 150, 160. If he has energy, he wins. Probably has energy. Old Melting Horn. Discarding a DCE. Only one card left in deck. And does he have the energy? Or Lysandre? DCE. Well, that was a close game, though. Definitely very close. We got them down to one card. And we kind of drew dead at the end. So I think... I don't know. I hope that shows off kind of how the deck works. I definitely think that's a pretty good matchup, though, but it doesn't always work out. Just because they can do so much damage. If you're not milling every turn, though, that doesn't help either. See, so we're going up against Confusion 135. And we do going to go first, so we're going to do that for sure. Start double Houndoom, Ultra Ball, fighting Fairy Belt. Good stuff. Okay, Rainbow Road. That's interesting. Ultra Ball, discard Houndoom, and or not Rainbow Road. Sorry. Probably Mega Gardevoir, which can also hit us hard, but they have to attach energies and stuff. I discard Fighting Fairy Ball or Energy. I don't know if that's the right decision or not, but we're going to grab a Shaymin. It's our only Shaymin. Alright, so we've got one Houndoom prized. Got all our energy in deck. Do we have Energy Retrieval? We do. Crushing Hammer. Okay. Great. Sorry, I missed. Okay, we got the 2/2 Crawdaunt. That's good too. It's going to be probably very helpful. We'll Fighting Fairy Belt. And we'll just set up. Don't really want to play the puzzles yet. Okay, so we get a Corphish, and we'll put down Silent Lab since we don't have any more Shaymin. And let's see what happens. Got lots of options for next turn. Okay, well maybe not lots of options, but we do have options for next turn. See a Nest Ball grabbing a Tauros. And double colorless going on Tauros, EXP Share going on to Xerneas. Fairy Garden. Are they going to be able to retreat though? They'd have to have a switching card here. See, Ultra Ball, probably going to grab a Shaymin-EX. Or perhaps Hoopa. Or just Oranguru, okay. Guess that's an option to draw. It does help them in... It will help them a lot because we can't just delinquent them to 0 and then they draw into nothing, so... Yeah, but obviously it's inferior draw support in general. We get Sycamore, so that means we are going to want to play the Sycamore, so I'm going to double puzzle. We'll grab probably just Stadium Energy. Not really the strongest double puzzle, but always like to use it when I can. We've only forced out 2 stadiums already, so that's good. We'll Sycamore. And okay, we got Bunnelby, we'll play the Crushing Hammer. Good heads, that's good. And we will Melting Horn, see if we can discard some important resources. A Delinquent, I believe that was, and an EXP share. Okay. If they Delinquent us right now, we do not care all that much. But Silent Lab's back down. Oranguru cannot instruct. We do see Xerneas come down. They will be able to Geomancy this turn, but we have a Flare Grunt in hand. The other option we have is Delinquent, but then we discard the stadium, so then they can use Instruct again. It's kind of funny how that works out. We'll use Crushing Hammer. We will get heads. We'll discard off of, I suppose, the Xerneas. We will team Flare Grunt, and we'll just Melting Horn once again, discarding a couple cards off their deck. We see Parallel City, Nest Ball. It's nice to discard the stadiums because we do want to keep our stadium in play. See another Fairy Energy come down, so they're doing well at getting the energies. And we're probably going to Sycamore next turn, or we could Lysandre Tauros. Energy onto Tauros. Okay. We get a Float Stone. I'll put that down on Corphish. I don't know if I want to Lysandre or not. I think I'll just Sycamore. I'd rather kind of hopefully get some more setup going. We get Level Ball, so we're going to be able to discard energy off the active. We've got energy. We've got lots of stuff going for us. We will, yes, use that Unruly Claw, discard that energy. Got another Fury Belt. We will use Crushing Hammer. We'll cut heads again. We're doing amazing on those Crushing Hammer flips. We'll discard off the Tauros this time, I think, and we'll just Melting Horn. Discarding a couple more cards. VS Seeker, Lysandre, or I mean Sycamore. Those are great cards. And what does our opponent have? Do they have a VS Seeker? We see the Xerneas break. Which could be a viable attacker and just a Fairy Energy. Okay, so we don't have anything to really do here. I think I'll attach to Bunnelby and just Melting Horn once again. I'm not sure why our opponent didn't just attach the Acto and Geomancy. Probably afraid of us discarding energy, but I don't know. We get double puzzle. Wow, we got both double puzzles. I want to play it, but I also don't know what to play it for. Like, I guess maybe I'll grab VS Seeker and a Crushing Hammer. I could grab double Crushing Hammer. There's so many good options. I could have Level Ball. There's so many good options. But we'll play it just because we have it. I don't want it to end away from us. I think I'll grab VS Seeker and Crushing Hammer. Seems pretty strong. Yeah. Crushing Hammer. We do fail though. I don't think I need to attach. Put a Fury Belt down. And we'll just VS Seeker for Sycamore. I realize we do have the lower deck size at the moment, but not too concerned about it. We do get a Enhanced Hammer, that's good. Don't really need to bench the other Houndoom, but then we get the energy attachment. Yeah, sure, we'll do it. And we will just Melting Horn once again. Discarding more resources. Xerneas and a Trainer's Mail. Don't want them getting that Trainer's Mail. I'd like to start discarding like VS Seekers and stuff like that, but we've discarded a lot of energy. Wow, okay, Lily for 6. So that's pretty good for them. See a Carbink come down, which is actually really annoying. Wow. So we can't discard basic energy from their basic Pokemon. Basic energy attached to your basic Pokemon. But I actually can discard from this Xerneas break because it's not a basic Pokemon. That's kind of funny little out I have. They didn't get energy, but I don't care. I'm just going to end because I want to get some more good stuff. Want to get a Level Ball or a Corphish or something. Which, of course, I didn't get. Flare Grunt, Max Potion, cool stuff. We'll just Melting Horn. We also technically drew a card for them, Discard DCE and like Fairy Belt. Always like to see energy go in the discard. How many energy are they down now? 4 Fairy, 3 DCE. See a Zerny's Break come in the active. Do they have a stadium to retreat? Because that would be pretty important. See a Fighting Fairy Belt going to Tauros, which makes it great. Lysandre target now. Fairy Energy on the active. Do they have a Fairy Garden though? It's a big thing. Do they have a Fairy Garden? Also have Escape Rope at my disposal if necessary. I see VS Seeker. What can they even grab though? Delinquent. Okay. Fair enough. I don't think I really need the Enhanced Hammer. I don't really need the Escape Rope. And Max Potion could definitely come in handy. But Crawdaunt could come in handy. I don't know. I'll just discard the Crawdaunt, I guess. Do they have a Fairy Garden, though? I guess now they can instruct, though, so that's what is good for them. Top deck of Fire Energy, that's great. We will Team Flagrant. Discard the energy because they are not a basic anymore, which is pretty funny. I think they probably just should have not done the Break Evolution. And we'll Melting Horn. Just hold off on the Break Evolution. Oh, we discard the less DCE, so there goes the need for Enhanced Hammer. Discard a Skyla as well. Trainer's Mail. They're down to 8 cards, though, so I don't really see how we can lose. At this point, I'm pretty sure we've got this in the bag. Yeah, it's looking good for us. Looking real good. I didn't grab anything, but I don't know what they would want to grab. And kind of almost just expecting them to concede soon. I don't think there's really much hope for them. They haven't taken any prizes, so they don't really have an easy route to prizes by any means. We see a Professor Kukui. So now they're down to 6 cards, and they pass. And we get a VS Seeker. Do we have Handiwork? Oh, man. We have N, though, which actually nets them more cards. It also nets us cards. Let's see. So if we end them, they're up to 6 cards, or they're up to 6. They're down to 4. It's kind of like an extra turn. It's also really unnecessary at this point. So we'll just Melting Horn. Rather keep the VS Seeker, I guess. Discard another Zerny's Break. So it looks like the deck was just kind of all based around getting a lot of energy on board and attacking with Zerny's Break, having Tauros as a backup attacker. We see Brock's Grit, though. Didn't really expect that. So we'll probably see a lot of energy come back, like 5 energy and some Pokemon. Yeah, 5 energy and a Zerny's Break. Well, that's interesting. Do they have energy to attach? They don't, though. So we're probably just going to be discarding that energy right off the top now. Discard the Crawdaunt. I don't really need to put down that guy. Yeah, we'll just Melting Horn. Wow, we missed energy. So that means they almost certainly draw energy here. They play Max Elixir? I wonder how many they play. I've only discarded 2 in it. Or there's only been 2 discarded. Zerny's Break gets energy, but of course we can Flagrant that off. And we do see a Geomancy, which makes sense. Just helping us out, buddy. In fact, I think we win next turn, right? So they take 2 energy out now. That puts them down to 4 cards. And then we end them up to 6 cards, and then we Melting Horn for the win. Or we could Team Rocket's Handiwork. Yeah, we'll just do the smart play. I like Team Rocket's Handiwork, but it has failed me before. We will end them. They will draw 6. They'll be down to 2 cards, and we will Melting Horn for the win. Melting Horn away. The last, wow. So they must have a hand of a bunch of energy. Anyway, so we did win the game there. You can see what happens against decks that need to set up. It's very, very good against setup decks because we can just sit there, discard energy, have a lot of fun against it, and deny them really doing anything. They didn't really. I don't know if they even got off an attack for damage that game. I don't think so. So, kind of funny how that works. We did get a Sun and Moon pack, so that's always fun. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Did get a go up against. I don't know. We went up against Mega Mewtwo, which is obviously a meta deck. Went up against sort of an interesting new deck, rogue idea maybe, but you can see how the deck can be strong. Almost took down the Mega Mewtwo, just falling a little bit shy, 1 card shy in fact. I mean, there were so many ways we could have maybe come back from that, but we just were not quite able to via Seekers. We could have got a via Seeker, obviously. We could have got Handiwork, Max Potion, so many different options we had, and we just came up a little bit shy there. But I hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something about this deck. Perhaps it's worth trying. I don't know. I thought I had a lot of fun with it, and I don't know. It could be a deck that can hold up in Sun and Moon, this format through Sun and Moon. So thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.